Here's my review of My Adventures with Superman, Episode 8. I thought that this was a very good episode. Within this episode, like, the crooks that were a couple episodes back are tasked to take down Superman by Amanda Waller and then the rest of the government, which I just thought was a really fun episode. A lot of this episode also is just, the beginning of this episode is really fun with Superman just flying around the whole city trying to, like, help people. I thought that was really fun to see. And a big part of this episode, I feel like, is Superman being stressed with having to do this. Like, of course, he loves saving people. He loves helping people. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, he still does get tired, even if it takes a little bit longer for him, obviously. But, like, you can see here how just he's pretending, or he is, like, really happy to be saving people, but he's clearly kind of, like, going a little crazy because he hadn't slept in 4 days. And that was pretty funny, but also, like, it was just really nice to see how much, like, he really does care about people in this show. And one thing I really found interesting was seeing Vicky Vale in this show, with the main point with her is she thinks Superman's evil and thinks that he's a threat. And it is just very fun to see, like, the two different perspectives, is, like, Vicky's almost constantly trying to, like, I guess, expose Superman through this whole episode. And obviously, Lois and Jimmy are trying to prove to her, no, the Superman's a great guy. And we know that he is, but I mean, from the outside perspective, like, Vicky doesn't see it that way and kind of feels like Superman, he can't just be good and he's got to be hiding something, which is really interesting to see. And I mean, obviously, we know from a couple episodes when Lois saw, like, the evil version of Superman from a different universe, it does almost think that, like, it gives Lois that thought. I mean, well, would Superman do that? Because he could, but would he? And it's one of those things where, like, I feel like that's been done over and over again, but it was still fine in this show. I thought that was still handled well. And one thing that's interesting in this episode is Lois and Jimmy try to, like, take her to see kids and other people that Superman has saved before to prove to her that she's not, like Flip, who's the news girl. And obviously Flip says good things about him, but Vicky, I mean, she kind of clearly has an agenda to just kind of be hateful towards Superman, and she's clearly very biased. And so it kind of got you concerned, like, and almost worried that, like, either way, he's going to be looked upon poorly. And if she does write, like, a bad report of him, that could be very concerning. And like I said, at the beginning of this, you get to see Superman save a ton of people, which is very fun to see. But I think that this was, in a way, very smartly done, because at the beginning we see him save a ton of people at the beginning to show how good of a person he is and how much he's trying to help people. And I think that this was very well set up in order to kind of have, like, a juxtaposition, like, towards the end, where when he tries to save somebody, he accidentally causes, like, a car wreck because he had to stop this truck from hitting this person. And through this episode, like, some of the people are kind of, like, I guess, almost being influenced by Vicky. So then this may be, like, the final straw, I guess, to kind of, like, see, oh, he is bad. He is going to hurt somebody. Because, like, when he stopped the truck, I think, like, the truck driver, he kind of caused, like, this huge car crash. I don't know if anybody died, but, like, they definitely got hurt. And obviously Superman didn't want that to happen, but, like, that's just what happened. And I think that this kind of leaves on an interesting note because, like, he's, like, fighting these bad guys that were sent by Amanda Waller to stop him. And he does get knocked out, like, at the end of the episode, and you're kind of curious on where it's going to go. And like I said, like, it had some really great action due to this animation. It was just a ton of fun to watch. And yeah, I thought another great episode. Every single week, every single time I do this episode, I sound like I'm beating a dead horse saying how it's another great episode, but it is. So yeah, overall, I really liked this episode, and I thought it was good.